Ah, there we go. Okay. Test, test. 1, 2. Test, test. 1, 2. Nice. Just let me know if you need me to bump the effects mic down at all. So it will obviously be a little bit louder than right now during the game. Yep. I can put it down a bit more. It should be fine there, but obviously I can hear it as well, so if I need to adjust it.
Can you get wide angle? Well, say if it's a goal kick, right? Yeah. Instead of having it just on the ball, can you have a sort of, because everyone's normally on this in the half, in his half, yeah? Can you sort of have it like where you can see the ball and most of the players? That's all. Just easy for us coaches to analyse, just for analysing. Thanks.
The way you like it. You guys are the ones who are going to watch it.
That's all we do. Let's watch it. Absolutely.
I don't have access like I did at my previous club, but and even then I still have to break in and get the ground. Don't think I've done it on purpose, I just don't have access.
Okay.
The penultimate game of round 21 in NPL Victoria brings with it no shortage of intriguing narratives, as Churchill Reserve is the scene for a clash between bottom-placed St Albans Saints and fifth-placed Heidelberg United in what presents a massive chance for the side at the foot of the table to climb off it and leapfrog Moreland City if they can spring a huge upset against one of the form sides of the competition in 2024. There hasn't been much to write home about for the hosts today on the pitch, particularly not in what was a disappointing defeat to Manningham United Blues last week. As we pause for a minute's silence. Minute silence respectfully observed here on the eve of kickoff. Great show of respect from those here at Churchill Reserve today, who are hoping to end the 90 with a smile on their face. As we mentioned, there hasn't been a lot to write home about on the pitch for St Albans in recent couple of weeks. Back-to-back losses, 7 goals conceded. Even if that doesn't necessarily tell the full story of those games, but they have been the talk of the town in NPL Victoria off the pitch so far in this mid-season transfer window, making no less than 6 signings in the mid-season window, headlined by none other than the all-time A-League appearance maker Lee Broxham, the one club icon of Melbourne Victory fame, makes his long-awaited introduction into life post-victory in the shirt of St Albans. His first appearance for a side not named Melbourne Victory since his Socceroos debut in 2008 against Singapore, some 16 years, 3 months and 15 days ago. So there is a piece of history in the offing for Broxy, who is straight into the starting 11 as one of 4 changes for the home side. He enters the starting 11 alongside new signings Michael Martinovic from Dandenong City on loan from the sister club, and Scotsman Josh Fowler, who signs from UAE side Gulf United. A really interesting story that we'll get into later. The other name into the 11 is a familiar one, and a big one for St Albans, and a familiar one for Heidelberg United. Brian Summerskill is into the starting 11 to face his former side, while for Heidelberg United, chance to get back onto the winners list and bounce back from Doherty Cup playoff disappointment at the hands of South Melbourne on Wednesday night. They were valiant in a 2-1 defeat as St Albans get us underway, and with that cup football in mind, John Anastasiadis rings the changes. There are 4 for them as St Albans look to build an attack early, cleared full stretch by Collins. Josh Pinn is back from suspension. Anthony Theodoropoulos comes into the side for just his 9th appearance and his first start of the season. One of the other introductions, a first start for him too in Heidelberg colours, as there's an early chance here for St Albans, but the flag is going to deny them. It was Jaden Gorman who is into the 11 for his first Heidelberg start, while Sean Ellis is into the starting lineup for the first time since round 17, and he captains the side in place of the absent Adrian Zara. So it is a Heidelberg side who go in, as you would imagine, as heavy favourites. But the history books are slightly different to the form books when it comes to the Burgers playing at Churchill Reserve. They have not won here at St Albans' home ground since 2017, would you believe? 7 years since their last 3 points, and here is the first touches on the ball for Lee Broxham. Might need a few minutes of adjustment, getting used to seeing him in a shirt without a chevron. There's a touch for Gorman, cleared away by Michael Gergic. That was a fairly robust challenge, to say the least, from Aiden Federhajic. Of course, new coach Cam Watson hoping to get just the 2nd win of his tenure. It's been a tricky time trying to get this St Albans side off the bottom of the table and get them playing a new brand of football. Lesiotis caught in possession by a combination of Fowler and Summerskill, and here's Joey Monac at the top of the box, who just couldn't free his feet. Idara, but it fell back to Monac, and eventually Idara can release the danger. Theodoropoulos, his searching ball will drop into the lap of Joseph Cholina. Great to have your company as well if you are watching on at home. If you're a St Albans or Heidelberg fan, an NPL Victoria enjoyer, or maybe a Melbourne Victory fan looking to get a gander at Lee Broxham. I mentioned it's his first appearance for a side not named Victory since Socceroos duty in 2008. Hasn't played for a club side not called Victory since 2005 when he was at the Victorian Institute of Sport. Back then, St Albans were relegated from the Victorian Premier League, the then first tier of Victorian football, and Broxy comes in hoping to stop St Albans from suffering that exact same fate, and hoping to assist in implementing the passing style, possession-based game plan that Cam Watson has looked to bring in. It's of course a 6-0 defeat to Heidelberg United all the way back in round 8 that saw St Albans spring the coaching changes that led to the arrival of Cam Watson, as that was nearly supreme danger for the St Albans defence. Martinovic able to boot the ball away. Jaden Gorman nearly had a very easy look at the opening goal of this game. It's been a willing contest so far, though, and the pickings fall to Brian Summerskill. The second ball will be important. Falls to one of the new men, Josh Fowler, and Noah Langerak is quick to whistle for a free kick, and it's a return to the starting 11 for Anthony Theodoropoulos, and it's a spot in the referee's book inside the opening 10 minutes. Not many goalmouth chances to speak of as yet, but it certainly has been played at a frenetic pace so far. Despite the emphatic nature of the scoreline last time these two sides met, it is a very different St Albans side, owing to their transfer business. The odds are still against them. A promising free kick position here for them, though. And a man who is no stranger to finding the back of the net for Dynamo in Captain Michael Gergich, an all-time NPL Victoria goal scorer. What can he fashion from the free kick? Nothing. The second effort, though, was firmly struck, but met the same end result into a yellow shirt. And this Heidelberg defence that for most parts of this season has been imperious stands firm once again. Just 16 goals conceded in 2024. Second best in the league behind Avondale. 10 clean sheets. Level with South Melbourne in that mark. A bit shakier on the road, though. The only side yet to lose at their home turf, but 69% of their goals conceded this season, the Burgers, have come on the road. Martinovic has been fairly involved in the opening exchanges of this game, and here's a touch for Sean Ellis, who looks to drop it into the path of the returning Josh Pinn. They're a little bit smaller than usual across the front line. Heidelberg today, so usually the towering presence of second all-time top scorer in Heidelberg history, Kane Shepherd, looms large at the point of the attack. Oh, that is beautiful from Lucas Burns. Olsen is going to have to get back in quickly. No whistle from Noah Langerak, as though it was getting a bit argy-bargy between he and Nick Olsen, who is playing in a slightly unfamiliar position of left-back today, filling in for the absent Adrian Zara. Came off in the second half of that Doherty Cup playoff defeat to South Melbourne. Olsen did fill his position then, and does so in the league as well. Martinovic feeds the advancing run of Lucas Burns, and now Joseph Cholina is nearly caught in possession. He's going to have to be careful here. Somehow able to keep a hold of the ball, and Summerskill is in to bail him out. Burns was clever, and Martinovic feinted to head for home, and it was really well done. Martinovic is having a solid debut for St Albans so far. Ellis couldn't fashion an opening through a sea of legs. Idara heroic. And eventually wins the free kick. St Albans bench not best pleased with it, but Heidelberg keep the ball moving. Yokokawa into the path of Ellis. And a good challenge once and then twice for Broxham, but the opening arrives for Yokokawa! Just flashes it across the face. A good early chance for Heidelberg. And Lee Broxham did so well on the first sliding challenge, but second outstretched intervention just He forwarded it. The ball to the feet of one of the men in Heidelberg colours, so you don't want to have it. In Asahi Yokokawa. He's been in solid goal-scoring form of late, mostly against South Melbourne, mind you. Scorer of the opener in the Cup playoff game.
Yes, good ball.
It's an inventive ball for one of the new men, Scotsman Josh Fowler.
You're right.
It's okay, Josh!
A fascinating signing. The 22-year-old Scotsman who has arrived from Gulf United in the UAE First Division.
Hey, was that switch the mic on? I didn't see it. I wasn't looking.
He's the replacement at Gulf United for Gary Hooper, former Celtic and Wellington Phoenix player, if you're an A-League head. Playing there under former Swansea and Aston Villa defender Neil Taylor. Ended up there on the back of a 32-goal season in the West of Scotland Premier Division for Beath Juniors. He's working semi-professionally as a joiner while managing his football commitments, but it's good enough to earn him a trial at Motherwell as Monac swings the ball in. Easy pickings for Yaron Souza, but looking a lot brighter with these new reinforcements in Albans. Summerskill just prods that one away. Many of these Heidelberg players will be wise to the threat that Brian Summerskill can provide. 21 appearances, 2 goals for the Burgers back in 2022, and here he is using his body really cleverly. Burns. Back for Gergic. You can hear through the effects by Cam Watson urging his side to keep possession. Here's Lee Broxham. Playing under Cam Watson, 2 players who went head-to-head in the A-League years. Only 1 year's age gap separating them. Cam Watson only 37 years of age. In fact, talking about going head-to-head, Cam Watson's last ever A-League men's appearance was against Lee Broxham's Melbourne Victory and against Lee Broxham in midfield. Match 2016, his final professional A-League men's game for Newcastle Jets. Here is Lee Broxham picking a pass for the young Joseph Cholina. He's had a breakout season in the centre of midfield for St Albans. One of the favourites of Cam Watson. Turns 21 tomorrow.
Hey! Yep, narrow up.
Really engaging tactical battle, this one so far. Really just tick past the opening 10 minutes played. Asahi Yokokawa's shot past the body of Marko Bulic. Only significant chance of note. On back well by the Japanese attacker, Idara. Always full of running and energy. Feeds it to Anthony Theodoropoulos. Sean Ellis returning the favour. Cut into the middle. Sean Ellis! Into the side netting. Oh, that was nearly a simple but elegant and so nearly effective move from Heidelberg United down the right flank. Sean Ellis, the quality that he's got in his left and right boots. You expected the back of the net to be bulging there, and it wasn't far wide, to be fair to the Scotsman. Lucas Burns. He's physically willing battle with Nicholas Olsen continues. It's a searching ball for Fowler. It's past his reach. Monac contests, and Theodoropoulos went for the safety first option of conceding a corner, but Souza was agile And collected it. The second ball is an important one. Josh Pinn is going to chase it down. The two former Berger teammates going at it, and it's Summerskill who wins out.
Oh, good Benzie!
There's a lot of overlap historically between the two sides. Familiar faces everywhere you look. Jaden Gorman. Oh, Noah Langerak just taking exception to the use of the body. Or was it for the offside flag that we can see over on the far side?
Jaden, okay, don't worry about it, Jaden.
He's going to get away with a warning despite the protestations of the St Albans fans on the hill. Beautiful weather for football here at Churchill Reserve. Bit of setting sun to contend with for the Heidelberg defence, but perfect temperature. Nice winter weather. Not much in the way of wind, maybe just favouring the left-hand side of screen. Maybe pick up a bit of that breeze through the effects mic. Max King back to Michael Martinovic. Oh, that's left a little bit short. Gergic forced to clear.
When you think about it like that,
And it drops into the path of Summerskill, who gives Josh Fowler one to chase. That's going to be dealt with by Yaron Souza, who always plays a pretty active role, sweeping against that back four.
Come on, man. We both can even play, like mid-center back.
Another important intervention from Lee Broxham.
That was his idea, I think.
Dara is run out of real estate, but Cam Watson will be hoping that these 6 new mid-season signings can be the tonic for St Albans side, who, as much as the performances have been more competitive under his reign, they do only have 3 points from the opening 8 games of his tenure. It's a good interception, a great pickup from Idara. Gorman through the legs. Oh, this could be an excellent goal from Jaden Gorman. But Marco Bulic comes up with a brilliant save. That was a nutmeg for the highlight reel from the 21-year-old Jaden Gorman. And we've been talking a lot about the new faces for Dinamo, the home side. Heidelberg weren't quite as active in the transfer market, but Jaden Gorman is one of the new faces. Recently arrived from Perth Glory. He made 7 A-League men's appearances, last of which came in Melbourne against Melbourne Victory, so against Lee Broxham.
On the keeper!
Josh Pinn is going to launch the long throw. It's a bit of a flatter delivery, missed by Fedor Hadzic. A couple of half-hearted claims for a free kick in St Albans' favour, and Noah Langerak happy to award it. There's a massive chance for St Albans, if they don't play themselves into trouble, of springing an upset. Even a point would take them off the foot of the table after Moreland City's defeat at the hands of Hume City. Manningham, of course, went down to Melbourne Knights on the Friday night, so no one's suggesting that this is a game they should be winning to save themselves, but it's an opportunity with Heidelberg making some changes. And of course, a home game, they have been a far more difficult proposition at Churchill Reserve over the past few seasons. 7 of their 10 points this year have come at Churchill Reserve. as well as 13 of their 18 goals for the year. Lee Broxham breaks the lines for Cholina, who couldn't quite do the same. Collins read the play really nicely, and Pin let it run for Jaden Gorman, who is clipped by Michael Gergich, and that is going to be a very easy decision. The second booking of the day.
You're good to go.
This one against the St Albans captain. Might it be his last involvement in the game? He signalled for assistance from the physio fairly quickly, and in similarly prompt fashion, Cam Watson has sent Chris Dibb, the former Heidelberg United defender, to go and warm up. An early substitution inside the opening 20 minutes, not what Cam Watson would want to deal with if he can avoid it. It's been a bit of a... I'm not suggesting it's anything other than bad luck, but it has cropped up a couple of times, these early injury-enforced subs. Brian Summerskill, just 2 home games ago against Melbourne Knights, was forced off inside the opening 10 minutes with injury. So we'll keep a watchful eye out on the health of Michael Gergich, who's at least got a smile on his face, so that's something. But on he returns to the field of play remains an open question. And we shan't forget that Heidelberg have still got a free kick to contend with, and it's one that they will take with a man advantage, hoping to do similar to what South Melbourne did to them during the Doherty Cup, which was score while the other team had a player off on the field. And it's going to be Asahi Yokokawa, and it's easily dealt with in the end by Marco Bulic, who just watches it into his arms, and Michael Gergich, albeit with a slight hobble, he's going to re-enter the field of play. Chris Dibb hasn't jumped back to the bench though, still going through a warm-up. Cholina with the interception, but a slight miscommunication between he and his teammate. He's giving Heidelberg the ball back up the field, but Anthony Lesiotis with a bit of a cheap turnover. Joey Monek is not best pleased about it, but another free kick. So maybe, just maybe, Heidelberg, after 20 minutes of end-to-end and fairly evenly contested action, maybe just starting to wrestle control of the game. Sean Ellis checks back onto the left. What a well-shaped cross that is. Pin connects with the free kick, or with the cross, I should say, but couldn't direct his header on goal.
That must be sad. I get over. I get like 100. Wait, like what do you mean, like the actual
Like
touches?
touches, like if you just hold the ball.
Oh yeah, I do more than 100.
Playing short from the back, St Albans, but nearly playing themselves into trouble. Heidelberg protest for a free kick. No whistle this time from Noah Langerak. He's had his work cut out for him where the officiating is concerned so far. Certainly feels in this last 5 to 10 minutes, though, the game has fallen increasingly into the grip of Heidelberg. Still we await the opening goal, though, at Churchill Reserve. That's dropped beautifully over the top from Ellis. His first touch is good, second was even better. But able to get in was Jacob Sovereign to concede the corner. And sometimes when you are playing against the fleet-footed Sean Ellis, electing to concede the corner rather than let him continue into the box unopposed is probably the best call. Look to create some left-footed magic from the corner flag. Sean Ellis, a flat in-swinger into the trees here at Churchill Reserve from Lee Broxham.
Michael?
Become a fan favourite quickly with clearances as emphatic as that.
You sit.
A fan favourite of Sean Ellis as well. The clearance into the trees ended up right in his lap for another corner, which is repelled once more by Lee Broxham. And now St Albans can send their lines up the field for action. Idara. Oh, Monek felt that he copped a stud. Certainly coming away from the 50-50 challenge worse for wear. Must be said though, Mohamed Idara does not lose many, if any, of those sorts of challenges. I haven't seen much of Josh Fowler so far in this game. Attempted to give pressure on Ben Collins. Martinovic was brave in the air, but the second ball fell nicely to Josh Pinn, who can hit them, but didn't really catch that particular shot in the direction of Marko Bulic. And Jacob Serverine and Lee Broxham having a little game between themselves. He keeps a fairly cool head, though, does Broxy. Try and build a connection and an understanding with his new teammates fairly quickly. Yes, they are still a good chance of saving themselves, but they need to start stringing together the points sooner rather than later. Because it's still no guarantee or no certainty that only one will go down in NPL Victoria this season. That is what's expected with the national second tier on the horizon, but until we have that confirmed, it could be more than one team relegated, which would make the need to pick up points swiftly all the more important for Dynamo.
Professional pitches are much bigger than this. Professional pitches are like
Olsen.
Are these like two of these?
Nipped in the bud by Michael Martinovic. Been one of St Albans' best so far today. And that's a great ball for Josh Fowler, who's up against Ben Collins, and the young defender stood his ground. Great work by Ben Collins. And there's a reason why he's a favourite of John Anastasiadis, the head coach. So that one is going to drop perfectly for Josh Pinn. Gergic had to get his challenge correct there, because he is, of course, still walking that tightrope of a yellow card. Burns trying to get the play moving quickly. Summerskill gets it back to him, and now King is given one to chase, but Collins again ever so composed. Monac will attempt to cause some trouble for Yaron Souza, but former Central Coast Mariner maintains composure.
Marco, number 11's on the play.
Come on! Joey, come on! Yeah! Burns, keep coming! Left shoulder now, left shoulder! Yes! It's here, yes, good!
Robbed of the ball brilliantly by Martinovic. And Fowler's in a decent spot centrally, but Lesiotis covered his lines well. And Burns and Olsen in a tangle once more. And
Lads, we need to calm down.
You can hear the call from Cam Watson. Appreciates the ideas, but just perhaps St Albans in their quest to get the go-ahead goal, forcing the issue of fraction. Gorman can resume his battle with Martinovic. It's a battle that St Albans' new number 4 thought that he had won fairly convincingly there, but the throw goes in favour of Heidelberg. It's been a fascinating battle for possession so far. Both sides, St Albans under Cam Watson, do want to keep a hold of it where they can. Yokokawa couldn't trap it. Ellis to Anthony Theo. Idara. Oh, what a drag back from Mohamed Idara. And that's up into the afternoon air by Michael Gergic. It is a pitch that is difficult for sides who want to come and play a possession game. fairly green, but got a few divots. Yokokawa into the middle. Gergic only half cleared. And Ellis at full stretch. Looked to take it on the volley. Just didn't dip in time, but you can't fault the invention of Sean Ellis, who is the only Heidelberg player who was there the last time the Burgers got all 3 points at Churchill Reserve.
Yeah, Jaden!
4th of June 2017, a 4-1 win for the Burgers. Sean Ellis was the opening scorer, alongside Kenny Affiu and a man who is still in Heidelberg colours but not playing today in Adrian Zara. Caleb Mikulich was the only St Albans goal scorer. Maybe Joey Monek and Michael Gergic will remember that day. They were both in the starting 11 for St Albans, but don't think they'd have particularly fond memories of it. But they're giving a far tighter account of themselves in this game at home. Broxham stopped in its tracks by Mohamed Aidara. Yokokawa, well weighted. Jaden Gorman got onto the end of the cross, but his body positioning was always going to make it hard to get full conviction and accuracy behind the effort. Goal kick in this, the penultimate game of the NPL Victoria weekend. South Melbourne and Dandenong Thunder to play at 5 PM tonight at Lakeside Stadium. Both Burns and Olsen miss it in the air, but Gorman tracking back can feed Souza. That was a bit hot and heavy, and Collins has had to roost it away anywhere was going to do. And anywhere in this instance, I think, might have been
Which one?
the concrete of Fox Street.
Oh, yeah.
So emphatic was the clearance. "15 minutes remaining in the first half. It's been a tightly fought affair. Heidelberg slowly but surely taking the ascendancy, but find themselves into trouble occasionally with these knockings around the back. It is a deceptive pitch. It does hold up sometimes, and you have to adjust the weighting of your pass, but they've found some nice space here down the left flank. Olsen into the middle. It missed all the yellow shirts in a central area. The trouble so far, though, has been for St Albans to build anything the opposite direction. And Ellis has an opening. Gorman was at full stretch, and Martinovic can just boot it away. And Fowler nearly judged it perfectly. This has been the trend over the past 20 minutes. St Albans equal to the task defensively, but mustering much in the opposite direction. It's been difficult. Summerskill, though, was clever. So they'll look to maybe generate a chance here through the throw, which Martinovic will march up to take.
Mickey here.
Perhaps we shouldn't be too surprised to see the game goalless
Come on, Joey. Finally get back in the game, Joey.
inside the opening 30 minutes. For Heidelberg's solid form of recent times, they have found the back of the net a little bit harder to find in their recent league games. Only 2 goals across their last 4 fixtures, which is the same amount St Albans, who, I hasten to remind you, are on the bottom of the table, have managed in that same period of time. Well, that's a fairly solid run by their standards. They've only scored 18 all season. And unfortunately for them, as yet, the new attacking signings haven't done too much to change that ledger. Again, you usually don't expect new signings to hit the ground running, but with only 7 or 6 games now remaining in this season, they kind of have to. Fedoropoulos He's been energetic in his return to the Heidelberg starting 11. Idara canters forward with numbers aplenty. He might do it all himself though. Mohamed Idara just ran out of options in the end. Short of passes back to Yaron Souza to reset. Heidelberg have had it mostly in their own attacking half and mostly on their own terms until they play themselves into trouble. And this is a massive counter-attack here for St Albans to strike against the flow. Brian Summerskill across for Lucas Burns. He was offside anyway. The finish was found wanting. And Heidelberg, while they may be coughing it up with a bit more regularity in the last couple of minutes, they don't give you those sorts of looks too often. And careless offsides such as that one are the kind of things that Cam Watson's side can scarcely afford to cough up, but promise perhaps that they can find gaps in the armour of this Burgers outfit.
It'll come, Burns, it'll come.
King, around one. Ellis back into cover. Ooh, rolled nicely across the top of the box, and Summerskill was lurking. It required a full stretch intervention from Mohamed Idara.
I think that is Summerskill there.
And in turn from Yaron Souza. Joey Monek. Here's Summerskill again, who's going to wind up from distance and gets a few ironic jeers from the travelling Heidelberg support, but given the difficulty they have found in getting the beating of Yaron Souza so far, you can maybe understand why Brian Summerskill had a pop. Certainly has that in his arsenal. Just didn't get behind that one. Olsen, a well-weighted pass. Gorman just drops it in tantalisingly to the box. Monek missiles it away. Sean Ellis. Doesn't have the beating of Sovereign that time. He's become a real key component of Cam Watson's side, has Jacob Sovereign, even if he was just at 6s and 7s with Summerskill that time. He's played 6 straight 90-minute games, the full piece for St Albans. This is quite the run from Lucas Burns, who is around Nicholas Olsen, but for the intervention of the full-back. And Johnny A, John Anastasiadis, letting out some choice words, some splayed palms underneath his breath. Has been quite the pickup though, Nicholas Olsen. Martinovic, his free kick, a little bit shallow. Collins nods it away. They'll look to create some damage on the second phase, although they've played themselves into trouble. The foot race on between Burns and Theodoropoulos. Cam Watson will be disappointed with the breakdown, but pleased with the effort to prevent the Burgers breakaway by young Lucas Burns. His second St Albans appearance. What a ball that is for Jaden Gorman. They're getting close, Heidelberg. Another shot. Just pulled off target. And if they had their shooting boots on today, the Burgers, I don't think we'd be goalless after 37 minutes played at Churchill Reserve. Marko Bulic hasn't really had a meaningful save to make. Hasn't quite told the full story.
I think I did the diamond like a 22. We actually did all. That's how I worked with those 2 group stages.
It was a great ball to set up Jaden Gorman as well from, I believe, Aiden Federhajic. There could be more trouble in the offing here for the Burgers. Anthony Lesiotis feeds it into the path of Josh Pinn, but the ball just rolled away from him. He's a quick man, is Josh Pinn, but that one was just past his spell and past his reach. Haven't seen a great deal of Josh Pinn so far. Great win again, though, from Anthony Lesiotis. Could he go it alone this time? No, it's friendly fire. Asahi Yokokawa just getting in the way of the former Victory City and Wanderers midfielders. Speculator from distance. And again, that's one of the many overlaps out there today. A former teammate of Lee Broxham.
Including the first place, the second place, and the third place. The only team that was
3 years since they played together for the last time. On the 2nd of January 2021, a 3-1 defeat to Brisbane Roar. Callum McManaman, the only scorer for Victory. That was feels like an age ago.
like one Brisbane team was basically like Melbourne City.
Gorman had a very bright first start for the visiting side. Olsen, first time across for Jaden Gorman, but Gergic, the wily old veteran, is wise to the danger. And the Dinamo faithful on the hill, you might be able to pick up their applause on the effects mic for Michael Martinovic. It's trouble though, Max King, a cheap turnover, and Josh Pinn is ambling his way towards goal, twisting and turning. Josh Pinn. St Albans got their numbers back quickly. He'll do well to find an opening from here. The Queenslander, and eventually St Albans able to steal possession away. Fowler, just always fighting a losing battle against the weight of numbers. Ryan Summerskill could do nothing more than knock the ball into touch.
That's why I love the Super League. There's nothing good about the Super League. Pre and post season, but there's no academy where that's the involved. There's no more SDC or anything like that. It's just the first 10 clubs in Victoria.
They've scored the least goals of any side in the top 6, Heidelberg, but it's not from difficulty creating chances as they work it into the middle, but King got in the way. Just nabbed it off the feet of Asahi Yokokawa, but maybe that is why they have scored the least goals of any side in the top 6. Josh Pinn probably should have had a pop then. They've maybe been guilty of over-egging the pudding on a few of their attacking moves, but even when they have gone for the shots, many of them have been pulled off target. Maybe 0-0 at Churchill Reserve, but particularly from a Heidelberg United perspective, hasn't been down to a lack of effort from Alexander. Olsen. Jaden Gorman still tending to that boot that he lost minutes ago. Make sure those are double knotted, Jaden. You wouldn't want that to happen again. Decent crowd on the broadcast side. Might be able to catch some of the St Albans fans on the hill. Asahi Yokokawa just proved too hot for Lucas Burns to handle. Heidelberg with a free kick and a card for Lucas Burns. So a couple of Saints walking the tightrope now. To go with an early yellow card for Anthony Theo. Question remains whether Asahi Yokokawa, who won the free kick, will be the taker of the free kick, because Nicholas Olsen is standing within range as well. Plenty of options available at the back post. Often see a free kick from this sort of range, but it'll be Olsen to go short. Yokokawa outside of the boot. And they just overcooked it slightly. And every time they try to carry it up the field, there's a Burgers player in the way to make an interception. Feels a bit like watching a boa constrictor against its prey. Times here. Heidelberg slowly enhancing their grip on the game. Whether that killer blow is closing in remains the question. But so long as the game remains level, St Albans are in with a massive chance, not just of getting a point, but of taking all three. As good as they have been, Heidelberg, we've mentioned they've been vulnerable on the road. All their losses this season, albeit only 2, have come on the road. 11 of their 16 conceded for the season, away from Olympic Village. They've been defensively okay, St Albans. They just haven't been able to make anything stick in attack. And Fowler, though, might provide an opening. That's a really well-weighted pass for Joey Mannock. The offside flag, though, is up. I must say, it looked a closely run thing. I think Heidelberg taking less issue with that decision so much as the non-foul call. And that coming together between Josh Fowler and Ben Collins. Another duo who have had a pretty willing contest between each other from a physical perspective. It's been quite an attritional game. Not sides that are traditional rivals by any stretch, but certainly been a bit of feeling in this contest as the fourth official, Gabriel McCoy, adds 3 minutes of stoppage onto the first half. Which is very tantalisingly poised. Heidelberg are certainly in the ascendancy, but desperation can do funny things. And this St Albans side are in desperate need of points. Martinovic played it perfectly into the path of Olsen, who threads the needle. Asahi Yokokawa, what a challenge that is from Lee Broxham. Still not alive, though, not dead for the Burgers. Sean Ellis jinking left and right. Really well covered, though, by Joseph Cholina. Olsen, can they get the go-ahead before the break? Towards the byline is Nicholas Olsen.
Johnny!
Lucas Burns tucking in to do his job.
Take it! So far.
And interestingly, John Anastasiadis has made a point of urging Sean Ellis, who's been taking the right-footed, left-footed corner deliveries in swinging from the right-hand side. He's going to take an outswinger from the left this time. And Pin is contesting at the back post, but nothing doing really, just straight into the body of Sovereign. Good battling, though. Anthony Theo checking onto the left-hand side and clipped by Summerskill. Another set piece conceded by St Albans Saints Dynamo. And the Burgers with a big chance to break the deadlock right before the break. And this is well and truly Sean Ellis territory. He can hit them from a great many places. The Flamehead Scott, as they call him at Olympic Village. And this is definitely in his sort of territory. The Heidelberg United living legend. Here he is, Sean Ellis. Just didn't get the dip. Good shape off the left boot. He could mark his return to the starters list with a spot on the score sheet. Just yet, of course. Still plenty of football to be played here at Churchill Reserve. And still all the points to play for as we head towards the halftime interval. Heidelberg have had the chances, but they have not made them count. And the door remains ajar for St Albans Saints as we head to the break. A really interesting tactical battle this game so far. Plenty to unpack, but nothing to split the sides at the break. Heidelberg have had the better of the chances, but they've struggled to force Marko Bulic into meaningful saves. That is a fact that they will look to change as we come out of the other side of the break. St Albans remain in it, and a point as it currently stands will be massive for them, but 3 are still well and truly on the table, particularly if they can get that front 3, which has struggled to fire so far, clicking a bit more and relieving the pressure that is slowly mounting on their defence. It could go anyway. Heidelberg looking favoured as you would expect, but who knows, we could be set for a Sunday shock in NPL Victoria. Whether or not that's going to happen, we'll find out on the other side of the break. Here at halftime, though, at Churchill Reserve, the score is St Albans Saints 0, Heidelberg United 0.
try. I could see the way you're...
That header, I went too early.
Doesn't matter, man. It's a header. Only one person in our team, which is Domingo, has scored only one header, and that's the only header we've ever scored. So it's not easy.
I was close today.
It's not easy for us, but it should be easy for us.
It's because Dom's also tall though.
Yeah, I'm tall, but I'm scared.
Hi, Jimmy.
I'm gonna drink this one. I'm gonna watch this one.
Is that sure?
Yeah, it would.
Oh,
45 minutes to play and all to play for at Churchill Reserve. Round 21 action sees St Albans Saints level with Heidelberg United as we enter into the second 45. It's been a closely fought contest so far. Heidelberg, as you would expect, the fifth place side in NPL Victoria, have had the better of the chances, but it's been finding the attacking breakthrough and getting the chances they've had on target that has proved the challenge. Marco Bulic, who watches that ball into his arms, has not had a massive meaningful save to make despite a number of high quality looks, and you can see that reflected on the stats at half-time. 9 shots to 2 in favour of the visitors Heidelberg, but only 3 of those 9 efforts finding the target. And those are stats that lay bare the challenge in the second half for St Albans. So while they remain well and truly in this game, they have been soaking up increasing amounts of Berger's pressure and desperately need to give St Albans, or Heidelberg I should say, something more to think about in the opposite direction. Pin contests solidly in the air. King flicks that away into the path of Lucas Burns, who's got a bit of space to work with against Nicholas Olsen. They've had a really entertaining contest so far in this game, and this time it's Olsen who wins out momentarily. Nice looping pass, though, for Summerskill, the decides run. Here's Fowler! Souza with the stop. St Albans caught offside once again. What openings they have had in this game won't be reflected on that stat sheet we read out heading into the second 45, because their 2 biggest chances, one for Lucas Burns, former Port Melbourne Shark, and the other, the one we just saw there from 22-year-old Scotsman Josh Fowler, have both come with the player in an offside position. So the openings are there. It's just about getting the run timed correctly. And this is a brighter start for them, though. Martinovic, who's been one of their best, will look to release Fowler, and maybe, just maybe, you're seeing the impact of the amount of signings that St Albans have made. 6 in the off-season window, of which 3 of them are into the starting 11 today. Still just learning to all sing from the same hymn sheet. I mean, this is some of the first times that Fowler and Martinovic have shared a field together. Broxham read that solidly in the air. Monak, he's a fast man and will keep that one alive, but can't do much more with it. The bouncing ball, though, will create problems for Souza. Monak will look to hem him in, and Collins was left with little other choice than to concede the throw. For all their territorial prowess, Heidelberg, that was one area in which St Albans did have some joy, just taking advantage of a few errant passes as the Burgers played it out from the back, and as St Albans applied what was, to be fair to them, some fairly solid pressure, and have done exactly that here through Summerskill. And a touch here for Josh Fowler, who will look to turn provider the striker. He'll win a corner as St Albans build on what's been a bright start to the second 45. I'm reminded of a home game they played about a month ago now against Melbourne Knights, where they were really another game where it felt like they were hanging on
honestly, if
They
it was
came
not-
out really solidly out of the second half and gave the Knights a lot more to think about in attack.
Score more, I mean. Already.
This one perhaps following
It doesn't
suit. I
matter.
just realised that
No
there's
matter
another
what.
former
No matter
Victory
what,
teammate of
whenever we beat
Boys, that's the
Lee
setup.
Broxham's here at Churchill Reserve. More on that later though, as Monek swings it into the penalty area. It's put into a really good spot. It's a scramble in the middle, and Gorman clears eventually. Monek tried to cut across the ball. That would have been a goal for the ages if he really caught the ball, but it wasn't to be. And just going back to that familiar Victory face, it's maybe one that explains how Lee Broxham, who is originally from Knox, he's a southeast boy, or an eastern suburbs boy, has ended up on the other side of the traps. And that is assistant coach for St Albans. The understudy to Cam Watson is none other than former Victory player Billy Selesky.
Oh, I should be taking every free kick. But I just can't, because nobody lets me.
There's a bit of familiarity. Familiarity doesn't end there on the coaching boxes. It's something of a student and the master kind of narrative in the dugout today. Cam Watson was never an assistant coach to John Anastasiadis, but he was a player under John Anastasiadis all the way back in 2010. And Cam Watson was in the midfield for Oakley as that's dropped over the top for Sean Ellis. A massive chance to break the deadlock. Off target again from Ellis. How close can they come without opening the scoring Heidelberg? Another big chance, whistling past the right-hand upright. And at times it's felt like John Anastasiadis' side have done everything but score.
You know the one that Glenn said?
Good organising, yes. Keep talking, come on, boys.
They can boost him, but he's got 80.
And Sean Ellis casts his head to the heavens. It's not the first big chance to break the deadlock he's had today. Sovereign, a former North Geelong and Eastern Lions defender. Summerskill sets a task for Lucas Burns, and the foot race is on, but Olsen was professional. And just nodded it back to Souza. That's one of the real differences here today. Heidelberg's composure when the pressure is on is supreme. They very rarely look knocked off course. Fedahajic to Jaden Gorman. Who's promising Heidelberg's starting debut. Continues, although that pass cut out by Sovereign. Cholina has to be careful and manages, with a bit of trickery, to return it back to Monek. And now Summerskill just can't pick the gap for Josh Fowler, who is making some appetizing runs, but is yet to be connected with in an offside, or an onside rather, position. And as we say it, the exact same thing comes to fruition. Monek at full stretch. Few play for the shirt more than he. And Collins, again, just oozes class on the ball, Ben Collins. Fedahajic has turned into trouble though. Summerskill so nearly robbing him of possession. It continues to be the area where St Albans are finding their openings, albeit half openings. Theodoropoulos.
So firm. Oh, how did he pick that one?
Martinovic back to Bullich. Really interesting move. Michael Martinovic's transfer on loan from sister club Dandenong City. He's looked great in his first St Albans game so far, but he was playing fairly regularly for Nick Tolios' side. Stabs that one beautifully into the path of Fowler. Not much to aim at in the middle. He might look to go himself, Josh Fowler, but Fedahajic physically imposing and using his body to perfection. Theodoropoulos. Good pressing from King. Heidelberg will have another crack. Forcing the issue that time, Ben Collins. And Olsen had to read what was a pretty wicked bounce of the ball. We've seen the bounce be unkind to some people in NPL Victoria this week, and Yokokawa, I think, knew he was in an offside position as that one dropped into his lap. It was particularly unkind at CB Smith Reserve yesterday for Moreland City goalkeeper, as they conceded the opening goal after a horrific bounce. Wrong-footed Alex Condolian, actually just bounced over his foot as he went to swing his boot through the ball, which meant that it actually went down as an own goal for the central defender because Condolian never touched it. Monek. Starting to give Heidelberg a bit more to think about, but perhaps that is providing space for Heidelberg. Gorman, never looked likely. But they are getting space to do that sort of thing from significant distances. They are a slightly weakened side today, Heidelberg United, it should be mentioned. No Jamal Ali, who was one of their best against South Melbourne. Adrian Zara, their captain and stalwart, unavailable as well. Still some talents available to them on the bench, though. Fowler pokes it into the path of Burns, who's marshalled intelligently by Anthony Lesiotis. The likes of Leo Marsis and Kane Shepherd, don't their names loom large on the bench, are all currently going through their warm-ups. Sabit Ngor as well, who scored on his league debut for the Burgers. Owen Ashton too. Well, we could see a Heidelberg United debut for young Ethan Sardellis, who's on the bench for the Burgers for the first time this season.
Yeah.
Martinovic. Fowler to Burns. Gorman tucked in to do his defensive due diligence.
Yeah, he was here for ages. He got here like when the match started.
Broxham sets his sights further afield. Wasn't a heap in the way of movement presenting for him, but Burns dropped in and has been caught in possession. This could be a big chance to finally take the lead of the game, Heidelberg. Ellis to Olsen. Martinovic again. He has had that right side locked down for the most part today. Should mention, of course, for their own right, the subs available for St Albans: Nelson Tushongo, Chris Dibb,
How do they throw?
Alan Jerez, Luca Cabrera, and Josh Diven. So a couple of players who have found the back of the net for St Albans this season. Not with any regularity, mind you, but I guess St Albans haven't really found the net with any regularity. They might do here, though, with some passing moves like this. Cholina stabs it across to Joey Monek. Support coming in the form of Sovereign. But the pass again just not executed. They win it back, though. Can St Albans mount a sustained period of pressure? Broxham left it a bit short in the Fowler direction. Advantage played by Noel Langerak. I don't think Ben Collins was particularly keen on it, mind you, but play continues. Theodoropoulos. Approaching the hour mark at Churchill Reserve. Still goalless. And as we mentioned, in the first half, this has not been a place that Heidelberg have loved to come and play in recent years. Well, it was a 6-0 result last time they met in round 8. And Kane Shepherd is the scorer of a hat-trick. He's still sitting on the bench. Josh Pinn, who's starting up top in his place, had a brace. It's been 7 years since their last win here at Churchill Reserve. Their last game here at the home of St Albans Saints was a 1-0 defeat. George Ott opening the scoring after 22 minutes. Idara. It was quite brilliant from the Senegalese midfielder. And it's back at the feet of Mohamed Idara, who just pokes it, hopefully, to Nicholas Olsen, but it took a touch from a St Albans defender on the way through, so a corner coming up for Heidelberg United, who after an elongated phase of warm-ups got the subs coming back to the bench, and it looks as though Sabit Ngor is the player who is stripping off to potentially make his introduction. You did see him come on the 62nd minute mark for his debut. Here's the corner from Heidelberg, double punch away, only as far as Sean Ellis, who received it in a difficult body position, and St Albans might have a bit of profit here. Lucas Burns, I fancy it was offside. Cam Watson is
Everything's offside.
Inconsolable in his technical area. I must say, from this vantage point, it did look the correct call from the linesman. Maybe the disbelief from Watson more in the fact that his attackers have been found offside once again.
Actually, I can't. I've got to go.
He certainly looked a bit more mobile without Englishman Scott Bakor up top. Sometimes been a bit too over-eager. Monek has swapped wings. Back to Joseph Cholina. They have definitely been better in this second half, but Yaron Souza still hasn't been called into action. Could that be set to change? Cholina sets sights for the penalty area. It's past the reach of Fowler. Burns contests forlornly. And Ellis read it best out of the air. Only for so long, and it seems as though both sides will call to the bench shortly. Alan Jerez starting to prepare himself, and Sabit Ngor currently receiving his instructions in the Heidelberg technical area. And I'm not a lip reader, but I would say the instructions or trouble here. Bullich has played it perfectly into the path of Pin. Idara. St Albans have got numbers back quickly. They be their own worst enemy here. Pin to Ellis. And Lesiotis struggling to breach the wall of St Albans defenders atop the penalty box. And I imagine the instructions that John Anastasiadis is giving to the Burgers number 11 is do exactly what you did on your debut, which is score. Sabit Ngor, he came on in the 62nd minute, and he had his first Heidelberg United goal in the 93rd, saving the day for the Burgers against Avondale in a 1-1 draw after Avondale took the lead through Sian Cuba. He's going to replace the man he came on alongside in that Avondale game, Jaden Gorman. Martinovic repels. Summerskill sets a task for Burns. And Theodoropoulos, it was an awkward one. It might break the way of Fowler, who again just uses his body cleverly, but it is getting a little bit ugly between those two. Have had their fair share of things to say to one another. And Fowler will head into the book.
Hey! You got a yellow! What are you doing?
John Anastasiadis has come out of his technical area, marched onto the field
Theo, you got a yellow!
to yell at Anthony Theodoropoulos, who we talked about Josh Fowler going into the book, and I think he's the third St Albans player to do so. Anthony Theo is the lone player on a caution for Heidelberg, and he has to be careful with shoves like that because the Burgers could so easily be down to 10.
Come on, let's play.
Going to get a double sub shortly for the home side, St Albans. Luca Cabrera and Alan Jerez, so a refresh of the attack, you would imagine. We'll have to see who comes on first. Or who's coming off first, I should say.
Just an attacking play.
Yokokawa, the foot race with Gergic. Oh, and Yokokawa has gone into the fence. That was nasty. Not suggesting any malice from Ivan Gergic, but that could be really nasty because Yokokawa and Michael Gergic, the two number 16s, went body to body. And it sent the noggin of Asahi Yokokawa into the chain link fence that encloses the players' race here at Churchill Reserve. Oh, that was nasty. And we hope that Asahi Yokokawa is okay, because those ones can be really gruesome. And there was no shortage of St Albans players surrounding him, or players from both sides surrounding him to make sure that he was okay. And it looks as though, thankfully, the young Japanese attacker has escaped a rather unsightly incident without any trouble. Japanese attacker signed from Singaporean champions Albans Niigata, the sister club of the Japanese Albans Niigata. The sub still waiting to come on for St Albans. Gergic read it well. Lesiotis can get the eye in. Sovereign looking to split the defence. It's going to sit up nicely, but Souza able to prod it away. Burns had to go up, didn't get any of the ball. It's continuing to get spicy. Chuck Anastasiadis is he's like an angry school teacher right now. Making sure Anthony Theo doesn't get burnt playing with fire as he is now, sitting on a card. And that is as clear a warning laid down as you'll ever see and hear. John Anastasiadis, if you didn't pick it up on the effects mic, says, if you're not careful, Anthony Theodoropoulos, I will take you off. Speaking of players being taken off, those subs have come to action, and Lucas Burns' biting exchange with Anthony Theodoropoulos was his last involvement. He comes off alongside Max King. Josh Pinn drops it down for Ellis. Theodoropoulos. Booming cross. Dealt with by the St Albans defence. Martinovic just sets a task for Fowler, and this one might sit up, but Feder Hadjic was lightning quick. It would have mattered for naught anyway, though. Fowler, much to his chagrin and the chagrin of the St Albans fans on the hill, he was offside again. Confirmation of those subs onto the field as well. Alan Jerez has entered the fray, the Argentine who back onto the field as a substitute, having started the last 3 games and been taken off, so he's got an inverse role today, while Luca Cabrera comes on for his 4th appearance of the year. The St Albans youth product, Broxham. Slightly hairy, but showing those 13 seasons of A-League men's composure and class to make sure it wasn't comedy capers. They've tried that ball a few times without much joy. Jerez will look to chase down with his fresh legs. Ellis gets it by fortune. And what a challenge from Michael Gergic. He rides a fine line, the Dinamo captain. One of the 3 players on a card for the hosts. This is his 8th season with St Albans. He's their top NPL Victoria goal scorer, their 2nd all-time appearance maker. Second only to Joey Monek. Theodoropoulos. Heidelberg have left their numbers forward. And Sabit James in a pocket of space. What can Ngor do off the bench? Puts it into an inviting area. Asahi Yokokawa was outstretched, but couldn't reach what was an inviting prospect. Souza marching off his line again. Just pumping it away. It has been a rugged old fixture at times. Cabrera. And Ellis wins it back expertly, but has it taken off him cleanly by Sovereign. Fowler pushed into an area by Collins, who has been absolutely imperious today, and that's a great pass forward for Sean Ellis. Is this the moment for Heidelberg United? The cross takes a deflection. Massive claims of handball from the visiting Heidelberg support. But Noah Langerak keeps the whistle at his side. Jerez down into the turf. And Asahi Yokokawa in no hurry. In no hurry to get out of the way, so he's into the book. St Albans fans, I think, have either miscounted or misidentified there, because they were asking for a second yellow. Noah Langerak, to be fair, did reach somewhat suspiciously for the back pocket, and I was starting to wonder whether I'd got my own count wrong. There's been a real battle here at Churchill Reserve. A stinging pass from Jerez. Monek is fast. He could well match onto this, and he did. A corner for St Albans. The home support loving that show of passion and fight for the shirt. Refusing to give up on the loose ball, and I dare say that is the kind of spirit that St Albans need if they're going to save themselves from the drop in season 2024. A point will take them clear of Moreland City at the foot of the table, but a win, which would be just their 2nd in 9 games under Cam Watson, would give them some serious belief and a big scalp to lay claim to. Cabria's delivery away by Theo. Monek drops it in tantalisingly. Broxham gets up. What a moment that would have been for Lee Broxham to find the scorer's sheet on his St Albans debut. Would you believe Lee Broxham, for all his NPL Victoria appearances, has not found the back of the net in 8 years. His last goal coming in that fateful grand final against Sydney FC. It does feel quite fitting for him for that to be his last goal at A-League level. What a goal it was. What a day it was if you're of a Victory persuasion. And Gore, that was too hot to handle.
What's he crying about? Hey, man, we'll give him an Oscar for his
Hasn't quite had the devastating impact
Dinamo.
as yet.
Dinamo.
The former Western United youth player who was signed to Heidelberg at the start of the season. Never actually played a game, ended up getting an opportunity to play
How's it a free?
in Finland with Ilves. He scored 2 goals, had 5 assists. He's eventually returned at the end of the Finnish season. He's going to be joined by some more reinforcements off the bench. John Anastasiadis going to start calling on his big guns. Kane Shepherd and Leo Marzis prepped to come on. Jerez. Wasn't where he intended to place the ball, Sean Ellis.
Yeah.
Initially worked out well. Lesiotis
And then he goes at the back and he's running for it.
Ball off the body of Jacob Sovereign. Heidelberg want to take it quickly, but Noah Langerak need to make sure the free kick is taken from where it was actually conceded. You do get to see those substitutions. Captain Sean Ellis will hand the armband to Kane Shepherd, and Anthony Lesiotis will be the other player leaving the field of play. On comes Kane Shepherd, the second all-time Heidelberg United goal scorer, coming on in place of the third all-time top goal scorer for Heidelberg United. Still hoping to catch Gary Cole at the top of that mark. They have both jumped Jimmy Campbell this season, though. Shepherd with 9 goals this year has leapfrogged Ellis in the process. And his first act is a free kick, which is not his best, but he does come in with a pedigree of scoring goals against St Albans. But they've got to be careful at the other end. It's dropped over the top for Alan Jerez, who was sent a little bit wide by the pass. The Heidelberg numbers retreat. Jerez, the substitutes, fires it into the body of Anthony Theo.
Mo! Mark up again! Mark up!
Jerez, both of his goals this season have come at Churchill Reserve. Hasn't found the back of the net since round 13, when he scored against South after 10 seconds. That is by far the fastest goal of the NPL Victoria season. And it's looking increasingly, as we get into the final 15 minutes, that we're going to get one of the later goals, potentially to win this one. It's over all the St Albans heads, a few calls for penalties. Jerez, and at the top of the box, no St Albans players could catch it. Monek hits the deck. All legal in the eyes of Noah Langerak. Sabit Ngor showing off his pace, but couldn't catch it at the other side. Sovereign kept it in, or did he? Even if he didn't reach the ball on that occasion, the speed on display from Sabit Ngor was fearsome there.
Amazing! Hey, right way, man! But amazing!
Make sure everything's above board as well. The other substitute, for those not already aware for Heidelberg, was Leo Marzis. So 2 regular first-team starters coming off the bench as Heidelberg have had a bit of a rest, and they could be in trouble here. Jerez scraps hard, but can't even win a corner. So long as Heidelberg don't find the opener, St Albans are in with a chance. And the game's really starting to open up now. Sabit Ngor, Shepherd in the middle, Marzis at the back post. Couldn't get the shot off. Pin to Shepherd. Back to Josh Pin, and it just took a divot at an unfortunate time. As the pendulum of this game may be swinging in favour of St Albans. Luck just doesn't seem to be on the side of Heidelberg United so far. There's another unfortunate bobble against the turf that denied Pin a clean look at the goal of Marko Bulic. And we've played nearly 80 minutes, and the keeper has had to make a significant save. Monek. Well, if ever someone deserved a throw just for effort alone, it was Joey Monek there. Did everything but keep the ball as a St Albans possession. St Albans side who are going to make another sub shortly. Josh Diven, the young Western United youth player, set to come on. Idara. How has he not lost the ball then? His use of the body is without parallel in NPL Victoria, Mohamed Aidara.
They drop it.
Cholina sends Yokokawa to the turf. Jerez has been lively. His influence on the game growing as he looks to drive it towards Fowler. He hits the deck. Urged to get up. It's getting real tense here at Churchill Reserve. What's on offer starting to become more real. Marzis. Gergic just stood his ground and that was all he needed to do. This would be a humongous win for St Albans if they can snatch something here. The noise from the Churchill Reserve fans on the hill will be something to behold. Jerez puts it into an area. It's over the top of Cabrera. And it's a goal kick for Heidelberg United.
Make a difference, Steven.
Marzis drew the contact. Thought he'd earned a free kick. Noah Langerak with other ideas. Cabrera. Searching ball for Sovereign. The first time cross is a good one. Collins bumps it away. Jerez drops it down. Sovereign probably should have gone for the shot himself. It is an end-to-end contest into the final minutes. Kane Shepherd, friendly fire once again. It's going to work out though. Sabine Gore. His influence on the game starting to grow. Doesn't have much support here though, Sabine Gore. And eventually Sovereign coming up with the stoppage. Broxham had to clear, did clear, and Fowler will just have to lock it in here. Cabrera just overcooked it. They have looked better this season at home, St Albans, and that's a good thing for them as they look to fight the drop. And it drops nearly into the path of Kane Shepherd. Martinovic for Summerskill. Fedohajic couldn't force the stoppage, and now there's space in behind Fedohajic, who did tremendously to win the ball back legally. Summerskill and Aidara in a scrap. Gergic. Oh, Theodoropoulos had to win it, and he's lost his footing. Jerez has to be on his bike. It's Alan Jerez for St Albans. Onto the right, Alan Jerez! Oh, what a save! What a save from Yaron Souza. And Josh Fowler is flagged offside. But was the ball not going out for a corner anyway? Well, neither keeper has really been called into action after 82 minutes played, but you wouldn't know it. Yaron Souza looked as sharp as ever off that shot from Alan Jerez, who has really come on and given the right full back of Anthony Theodoropoulos something to think about.
Absolute fucking disgrace. Swapped in, stopped the game and getting swapped. Alright, I think he doesn't realise which way the teams are going.
I got it. I hear you. I hear you.
Alright,
Thank you.
Fucking time. Fucking woeful. Fucking
Run home for Dinamo. 5 of their final 6 games.
That's fucking wonderful.
Coming here at Churchill Reserve, and they've picked up 70% of their points for the year. 13 of their 18 goals. They could add to those percentages if they find a winner here. You get the feeling the way this game has gone today that any goal will decide it. Heidelberg, to be fair, conceded late against Avondale, left it late to equalise even later in the same fixture. Altona Magic here at Churchill Reserve next Sunday, followed by Oakley, Dandenong Thunder, Green Gully, and then on the final day of the season, St Albans will head away to face South Melbourne. So it's a tough run, facing 2 of the top 4, but there are some winnable games in there, and they will have to win some of those games to save themselves. At the moment, with the national second tier set for 2025, it seems as though only one will go down, but there is no guarantee. It could still be 2. Josh Gibbon, the substitute, with excellent use of the body, giving Collins a bit more to think about, but couldn't keep the ball alive. Yokokawa. Oh, Cabrera not leaving anything to the imagination. Again, this one increasingly feeling like it is in the hands of St Albans. Cabrera in the direction of Joey Monek. An icon of St Albans Saints. What can he do here? Back to Summerskill. The ex-Burger. Searching ball and off the crossbar. Summerskill almost producing something special. Still alive. Cabrera. Monek! Of course it's Joey Monek! The cellar dwellers with a moment to savour. And it's Joey Monek, St Albans Saints through and through. Who saves the day at Churchill Reserve. A thumping finish from the top of the box. And with 5 minutes to play, Joey Monek may well have won it for St Albans. And what a win this could be. Well, everyone was so caught up in Brian Summerskill nearly scoring the most outrageous goal past Yaron Souza that no one was expecting Joey Monek to be nipping around the top of the box. Well, what a celebration that was. What a finish it was too from Joey Monek. That's his first of the season as well. He's no stranger to scoring goals for Dynamo over the years. The man who is Dynamo through and through may well have won it for them. What do the Burgers have in response?
Alan,
there's not a lot of time
and then
left.
once it starts coming, then you can come.
In about 5 minutes, check how much injury time is left. Wow.
Is that the goal that hands Cam Watson just the second win of his St Albans tenure? The first 3 points in front of his home faithful. It was a goal and celebratory scenes worthy of being enshrined in folklore with a win, but this Burger side are made of special stuff. Gergic. Clearance drops into the lap of Nicholas Olsen, whose touch was hot and heavy. Martinovic with a dangerous up and under. Shepherd, Kane Shepherd into the path of Josh Pinn, whose touch just escaped him at the crucial moment. How many more of those kind of looks will Heidelberg United get inside the box? That's the question. We cannot say it wasn't a game that was there for the taking, but perhaps the curse of Churchill Reserve for Heidelberg United rearing its head again. It's been 7 years, 7, since the last time the perennial Victorian football powerhouses of Heidelberg won here. And they will have to pull out something remarkable to stop that record from continuing. Broxham. It'd be something if he got a clean sheet on his St Albans debut. Only kept 3 this year. Conceded 50. Theodoropoulos. Will the Burgers get the grandstand finish that they need? Broxham. Just goes for distance. They'll be hanging on. The Burgers will throw everything. Marzis. Pin. Back to Marzis. Good return ball at full stretch. Oh, lovely fancy footwork, but the cross lacking conviction. And we start to cast our eye towards the fourth official to see how many minutes will be added into this game. I think I saw a hand gesture of 4. An amount that the St Albans Saints fans who are up and about will take. Bullich bombs it long. Divin can do little more than help it on its way. I think any notions of a second to seal it, unless it comes on the counter, have been just about cast aside for the Saints. 4 minutes of stoppage to come. Waiting for Gabriel McCoy to hold the board aloft. Heidelberg United have lost just twice this season throughout 20 rounds. John Anastasiadis' side staring down the barrel of a third loss. And a third loss on the road. Bullich into the setting sun. Every touch so crucial now. And Pin just helps it on its way to Sabit Gore, who just couldn't get his feet sorted at the crucial moment. They'll lock it in through Theodoropoulos, but he's robbed of the ball by Jerez. And Monek is in behind. Joey Monek, who could be the hero, could enshrine his position with a second. Joseph Monek still going into the middle. Couldn't get it in to Josh Divin's feet. And a corner for the Saints. They may just hold this one in the corner and look to chew down the time.
Leo, move, go! Go, move! Move, go!
The first minute of stoppage just about elapsed for Heidelberg.
Good, good.
Will this be the tonic? Sending St Albans off the bottom with a massive, massive result. Feder Hadzic can flick up, but not really away. Another corner. So interestingly, St Albans are still looking to send it into the box. I'll take it. This would be the perfect way to set up an epic final few rounds of the season. Final 5 games. Season-defining, safety-defining games. Martinovic. Scraps hard. Idara. These are pivotal moments for Heidelberg. 2 minutes of stoppage time have elapsed. Shepherd manages to pick the gap for Collins. St Albans, to their credit, continuing to press into the dying embers, but they might have left a gap for Asahi Yokokawa to exploit, who's robbed of it brilliantly by Summerskill. Marzis to Pin. Is this the moment for the Burgers? Leo Marzis picks it back to Asahi Yokokawa, who hits the turf. No penalty required. No hurry required from Marko Bullich. They have played the entire NPL Victoria. 13 games since their last match against Heidelberg. And they have won just once. And they are on the precipice of by far the biggest result of their season. Cholina lost it in flight. Theodoropoulos over the top and in a bit of discomfort. Heidelberg stopped playing. Lenkarak put the whistle to his mouth, but play continues. Jerez. A sealer would tear the roof off Churchill Reserve. And eventually play will be stopped. They might just be home now, St Albans Saints. round 21 has already had its dose of upsets. Altona knocking off the champions Avondale by a scoreline of 1-0 at Paisley Park last night. And by an identical margin, an identical scoreline, St Albans can just about reach out and touch an upset of similar proportions. Heidelberg, a big close to end the season as they look to return to the finals, secure a home final. Melbourne Knights await next week. And they'll face Moreland City on the road and Hume at home before Australia Cup action, taking on the treble winners, Central Coast Mariners at Olympic Village. What a game that will be, regardless of the form that Heidelberg carry into it. St Albans fans on the hill singing "Livin' on a Prayer." Joey Monek, as things stand, have answered theirs. We've got stoppage time on stoppage time here. Get into the feet of Jacob Sovereign, who just pumps it forward. Divin contests. Collins is in a real cul-de-sac here. It's a throw for the Burgers. They have to be absolutely motoring. They'll probably get one last chance, one last look to save the day. Sabit Gore loses out to the double coverage. Cam Watson is calling for the full-time whistle. The clearance is long. St Albans have the win. What a result for St Albans Saints. 1-0 the scoreline. And one of the upsets of the season arrives in the Sunday afternoon sunshine at Churchill Reserve. Dynamo off the foot of the table, doing the threat of the drop. No harm whatsoever. A massive 3 points. And Joey Monek is the hero of the day, as he has been many times through the years. He scored goals that has set them up for promotion to NPL Victoria. And that is a goal that may help to save them from an altogether different fate. It was a result that, in truth, didn't look all that likely after 45 minutes played. Heidelberg had the chances, even if they weren't testing Marko Bulic. But they came up with a real character-building second half showing. They held firm. They stuck fat. They started to create chances, and in the final 15 minutes, they looked odds on. And 10 minutes later, Joey Monek was the man who stepped up. And Michael Gergich is very emotional at full time. And so too he should, because with 5 games to play, St Albans are off the foot of the table. And the flame of hope that they can save themselves from the drop burns brightly again. And the best part of what has been a thrilling, upset-laden NPL Victoria weekend is we've still got one game left to come. Don't go anywhere on NPL Victoria YouTube. South Melbourne getting ready to kick off the final game of round 21 shortly against Dandenong Thunder at Lakeside Stadium. But here at Churchill Reserve, we will sign off from one of the biggest signings of the season, or biggest results of the season. The signings for St Albans have done their job, and they may still save St Albans yet. Signing off from Churchill Reserve, the full-time score: St Albans Saints 1, Heidelberg United 0.